Hey, I'm Paul Hanson here with you once again. I thought I'd take some time to just have a conversation with you with the idea of getting a chance to know who might be watching this right now. Whenever I get to talking about what I do, I run the risk of sounding self-centered, but I think that's probably what most of us are about, what goes through each of our minds. We do think about ourselves most of the time. Just so you know a little bit about me, I had a very humble beginning, and that has played through to my current life. I don't think I've done anything very flashy, but I have done a lot of things. You see, I grew up on a farm in southern Wisconsin, and a work ethic was implanted in me very early on. Yes, there was work before school and again after school before getting a chance to hit the books and grab some sleep. And that early discipline has served me well throughout my life, for sure. From, farm life itself proved to not be my cup of tea, especially after a couple of accidents that marked my determination to do something other than continue with the farm life. You see, at age of 8, I was hospitalized after a tractor overturned with me and my brother pinned underneath it. I actually consider it a miracle to this day that I'm still here to talk about it. My brother at the time was 4. And miraculously, he had the wherewithal to turn the engine off because the wheel of that big tractor was digging into my back. And that simple act of what he did was truly a lifesaver. I remember my dad was summoned by the hired hand who had jumped clear of the tractor as it overturned. And I remember him running towards me, and when he got to us, he grabbed that huge tire and lifted that tractor as the hired hand pulled me from underneath. Now, I never thought about that act too much until years later, and the amount of adrenaline that must have been running through his body and would have been required to lift that tractor. As that tractor itself probably weighed, I don't know, a couple tons, maybe a ton and a half. Anyway, that was one of the experiences that set the stage for me leaving the farm. During the end of my high school career, I had sought an appointment to the Air Force Academy, but I ended up as an alternate, and I didn't choose another branch of service, which I could have, but rather opted to attend college, and that was the beginning of a whole new life for me. One of my first roommates, remember this distinctly, he had inspired me to write lyrics, which started, while he was writing lyrics, so that started my desire to do the same. See, this is another story of serendipity and good fortune. When shortly thereafter, after I started writing, I met Mark Anderson, who actually was an accomplished musician, having played with the Turtles. I know I just lost all of the millennials, or probably don't even know who the Turtles were. But Mark and I wrote several songs together, with the highlight was having 2 of our songs recorded by one of the leading bands in Minneapolis, in the entire area of Minneapolis. They were called Danny's Reasons. That was truly an exciting time for me, especially being a 19-year-old with stars in my eyes. So you're probably asking yourself, what does this have to do with business, especially with my business now called Goof Proof Plan? Well, maybe nothing. And maybe everything. You see, I learned early on that I could do most anything that I wanted to do. I just had to take action. But it all started with desire. Today, I live a wonderful life with my wife of 42 years, and we've been blessed with 3 grown children and 5 grandchildren. Now, before I dictate my entire autobiography to you, I'm going to stop here, okay? And I'm going to bring you some more updates as, I come across, some thoughts that I want to pass out there. And as I have time to relate them to you. But in the meantime, I'd like to hear from you. So feel free to comment, because I look forward to making your acquaintance and reading your comments. By the way, just so you know, that songwriting incident was real. In fact, I'm going to show you a copy. I may be able to put it here on the slide for you so you can see it. And copy was pressed way back in 1969. And I think I'll show you a copy of that tractor that overturned on me too. So, can't wait to hear your comments, and we'll talk again soon. God bless.